Good morning, and what is going on, stylist from the break room? Oh man, it has been a year. It's the end of 2024. We have all made it. The world did not come to an end like we were told it was. Do you feel ripped off or are you happy?
I am excited for 2025.
Mm.
I think I can't I think 2025 is going to be a great year for our industry. I think looking at my personal stuff from the past year, from where I started to where I ended up, it's good. Is it great? It's not great, but it's good. And I'll take good with over the past few years. It's on the uptick. Clients are on the clients are so positive, and this is awesome. I think it's good. I think we're at the end of the holiday season. I would love to be able to sit down and watch TV without falling asleep within 15 minutes. But because it's been busy in the shop. It's been good. And everybody around me is busy. I'm stoked. I'm stoked for 2025 for everybody. I think we're really gonna turn the corner with the hair industry. I really do. And the educational events that are gonna become available to us are gonna be amazing too.
I think every year they need to come out with the Lego movie with a new rendition of Everything is Awesome.
Everything is awesome. I think it's gonna be great, man. And yeah, 2024 was quite a transition year. It was. It was cool. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm excited for some of the stuff that's coming into our industry. Color wise and style wise, I think we're back to style and hair again. I think that we're back to coloring hair again and not just slapping color on someone's head and sending them off.
It's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
an interesting year indeed. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm very curious how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm excited. Actually, I'm pretty excited about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the stuff that we have coming up in the new year.
That I'm not excited about. We have so many things coming out. It's such a daunting task. It's so overwhelming.
And according to
a lot of work to do.
I was going to say, according to the Eddie and John timeline, I think we're already 3 months behind.
I feel like we just need a repeat of the pandemic shutdown, so we have time to catch up.
No, we do not need a repeat of that. We do not need a repeat of that.
I mean, I'm not saying we should. That was stupid, anyways. But that's a whole other thing over a bottle of scotch.
Oh my gosh! Oh, Aaron would kill me. There's no way.
Yeah, could you imagine having to go back through that again, knowing how it went through the first? You know how they always say the hindsight.
I literally repainted all the bedrooms because it gave me something to do to get the hell out of her hair. It was me and 1,000 other people at the Home Depot.
That's awesome.
Finding stuff to do because if not, I was driving her crazy because I don't do well just sitting, and I can only play video games for so long before she starts yelling at me. It's a double-edged sword. So are you ready for your quiz this week, my friend?
All right, what you got? Last week I didn't do so good.
I thought you did pretty good last week.
I got one wrong.
Okay.
Failure. You see those Stephen He videos?
Yeah.
He's such a failure.
Uncle Steven. Uncle Raja. Okay. So the average human scalp has how many follicles?
Ooh, quarter mil.
A 5,000, B 1,000,000, C 25,000, D 100,000.
Okay, 100,000.
You are correct. The average human scalp has 100,000 follicles.
Could you imagine 5,000? I think your eyebrow has more than 5,000 follicles on it.
I just wanted to see if you were awake.
Oh man.
But now I have some clients that it's like 600,000.
It's true though. There are clients that have, more hair. You're talking about an average, which means some people have less,
Right.
some people have more. Just like some people's real estate on their heads are just smaller.
Right.
Like you see the Beetlejuice movie, they just got that shrunken head, and then some people just, I don't know, they're big brained or something, but they got massive skulls, man.
Woo! And heads of hair, there are carpets with less pile on them. I have a client, I love her dearly. I've been doing her hair for almost 30 years. She was in yesterday, and a full foil is a minimum of 200 foils.
Sure.
A minimum. And she wanted to go heavier on the face. My carpal tunnel was throbbing. I got a shoulder pump from, it was, but she's great. It's great. Okay. True or false? Here's a true or false. Hair texture can change over a person's lifetime.
That is true.
That is very true.
That is true. Now, that's just natural factors over lifetime. That's not even throwing in variables.
Right.
So variables would be, like pregnancy is a big one.
Yep.
How many moms out there have said, oh, my hair was, and it's always, my hair was beautiful before the kids were born.
Hey, I had hair before my kids were born, okay?
My mom had no gray before I was born, apparently.
My mother used to tell me, see all these gray hairs? They have your name on them.
Yeah, right. But then other medical issues can adversely affect it. Hormonal changes in the body can, affect it. So, and we always laugh because generally 9 times out of 10, we think it's worse than what it was, but that's just time.
Yeah.
Things degrade over time.
Right.
So, but there have been instances where people are actually happy with the way the texture changes over the years.
Yeah.
So there is a positive to that too.
And then the other aspect of that also is lifestyle. Because whatever you take into your body comes out in your hair, and you could actually change the texture of your hair with good and bad lifestyle.
I don't agree with that.
I do. Have you ever met somebody who maybe is a recovering alcoholic or someone who is a recovering drug addict and what that addiction did to their hair?
I mean, you know what? Okay, that's fair. I'm always fascinated with the effects that it has on the overall body. Yeah, okay. You know what? You're right. I guess I'm not as awake as I thought I was today.
Well, yeah. Should we have Carm come in and poke you in the ribs?
I got to turn my head around. I got to flip the switch.
Okay. So estimated. This is estimated. What percentage of women in the U.S. color their hair? A, 50%, B, 30%, C, 90%, or D, 75%?
It's so wild. So this is what confuses me because I feel like it's such a large amount, but in other episodes, when we have done statistics and such, I have been so off. So it's like, it's so weird.
And this is as of 2023.
I still don't understand. All right, what's the lowest percentage you said? Like 30%, you said?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to go with that one just because I don't want it to be, but it just, the statistics really throw me off.
You're wrong.
Good. That's great.
It's 75%
See, that's what I don't understand. How is color such a low service represented as such a low income in compared to other services?
Well, you're looking at it from the salon perspective.
Yeah.
How many women, when you go to the grocery store, do you see them in that hair color aisle?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so insane to me. Nobody, it's like there's the joke. We always make the joke, nobody's a virgin no more. Like, you can't find virgin hair anymore. It's impossible.
Well, if you really think about it, what would it take for you to drop 10 pounds? You'd have to
88
work out.
miles per hour.
Huh?
88 miles per hour.
Well, you'd have to work out. You'd have to.
No, I just have to go back. I would have to go back in time. There is no working out. It's going to drop me.
Change the way you eat. There's a lot that goes into that kind of change. But you can buy a box at the store, slap it on your head, and you've got change. And sometimes some people need that change, or you're in our age group, and you have gray, and you're tired of looking at the gray, and you want to do something about it, but you don't want to go into the salon, or maybe you do want to go into the salon and you want the gray covered. Think about it. All the boomers and all my Generation Xers. Are you an X? No. Oh yeah, you are. I'm at the beginning. You're at the end. And Gen Xers, we're all gray. We're all going gray.
I was thinking about it from the complete opposite viewpoint from how you're thinking about it. There isn't one person that comes to the salon who doesn't color their hair.
Right.
Young or old. Oh,
right.
The little kids, they all want the dipped ends. They all want to do something. So the moms are all like, I'll let you tip the ends out. You're too young to start coloring everything.
It is easiest change. It is.
Yeah. And all the grandmas are like, I've been gray for years. It's time I do something new. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's for change. It's wild, man.
You see this?
Yeah, that's true. You do, don't you? You big bear, you. I just saw that now.
I love it.
You got a date for tonight. I have no idea who it is, but thanks for letting us know, because that's true. And damn it, if I ain't let you live that down later.
I didn't even know there was such a thing as that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google that.
You have a new nickname.
I like that. That's awesome.
See, that's the difference. We don't get pissed off. We don't get upset with comments. We just roll with it, man. That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Someone's paying attention. So I guess the next question for you then is, true or false? MEA or monoethanolamine is derived from ammonia.
Mia. No, that's Mia.
Mia.
MEA. The first time you asked me. So no, okay. The answer is that's wrong. That is not a derivative of ammonia. It's a substitute to ammonia.
Right. It is an ammonia substitute that mostly in ammonia-free color and products, you're going to get that's usually the replacement for ammonia in products. You are correct.
The first time you called me with you had fielded a question from a stylist.
Mia.
And I had no idea what she was talking about.
Right. That was funny.
I still laugh, man. I still think it's hilarious.
Yeah. I think so MEA or Mia is a derivative from actually the distillation of fossil fuels and smelting and things like that, that they use a version of it as an ammonia derivative as a to basically make the cuticle swell in the hair, right?
It's completely diluted. It's extremely diluted down for our purposes, but yeah. And in this quest marketing is really, this is something you and I talk about in our classes all the time. Should
Right.
always question marketing. Every company is the number one of whatever they are. Every company has the best thing of whatever it is they're talking about. Well, if everybody is the best at everything, then there's got to be something to it.
Right.
You got to start asking questions. Conversely, if everybody is dogging on a particular ingredient, then you really need to do a deep dive into what's going on with that particular ingredient, and why. What is actually happening there?
Right.
Marketing likes to take a half truth, not even a full truth. Marketing likes to take a half truth and just run with it. And this whole concept of, ammonia is the devil and we're all going to die. So therefore, we need to substitute it. I use sugar as the ultimate example all the time. Sugar will make you fat. But if you take the substitute to sugars, one of them will give you cancer. The other one will give you tumors. The other one will give you, I don't know what it'll give you. So pick your poison. Which one is it? Because either way, it's a necessary evil. You need something to do something. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go the natural route or do you want to go the chemical route?
Right.
The chemical route, the substituted chemical route is not always better. Even though they say it may be more controlled or it may be more lower, what's the word? Not as aggressive. It's not necessarily true in all cases. And in this particular case, ammonia is natural, contrary to whatever belief is out there. It's so fascinating how many people don't believe ammonia is natural. But it is. And MEA is not. And MEA is way harsher, over time and in frequency and such. So go figure. What do I know?
Right. I agree with you. So on to our next subject.
Okay.
So if you remember back in the day when we first started in the business 100 years ago, do you remember what New Year's Eve was like?
No, because we were all drunk. We were high off aerosol from the hairspray and drunk off the eggnog, or was it the eggnog or what are the champagne or whatever everybody was toasting that night?
Do you remember New Year's? I mean, you started at 8:00 in the morning, and
how you got such a late start?
Well, because I was privileged.
Lucky. We used to start at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, man.
So anyway, and you'd finish, right around 10. You'd run home.
No, we finished at 11:30. we how many times I could tell you we've done New Year's at the salon because there was no point to try to make it anywhere.
See, I usually ran on time, so I didn't have to worry about that.
We were just quadruple booked. Like we were regularly triple booked, but for New Year's we was quadruple booked. It was insane.
Right. So we but do you remember what New Year's Eve was like at the salon? It was busy. You went all day. Day.
That's what I'm telling you.
There wasn't enough coffee. There was, you did everything you could to keep to keep straight up and down. But as time has gone on over the past 30 years, at least in my business, I'm in my shop, New Year's Eve is maybe a couple touch-ups, a haircut, There are not a lot of party hair going on anymore. Or am I what's it like by you guys?
Yeah, okay. I think it's still busy, but I think the way we're preparing the hair for New Year's Eve has changed. I'll say it that way.
Okay, that's good. I'll give that to you. Yeah. It's more of your I guess my point is the way it's changed so much is that it's not the party hair. It's not. And then in talking with clients, most of your clients are like, yeah, we're just, we're going to the neighbors 4 doors down instead of going, we're going to the hill.
What is the pants? Not, like in the 80s, there was all spandex. What is the pants nowadays called?
Oh, yoga pants.
Yoga pants, right?
Stretch pants, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. I think since that made a resurgence, I think that's ruined New Year's because nobody want to dress up no more. I think that's the problem. And I think because nobody want to dress up no more, nobody wants to get dolled up and put their face on anymore. And I think because of that, then nobody wants to go out to celebrate anywhere formal no more.
Okay.
I think people are lost the spirit too much of togetherness and getting together and partying and like celebration in general. I think too many things are celebrated, so it's kind of desensitized the fun, because we didn't celebrate a lot of things 20 years ago. What was really the holidays was celebrated. New Year's was hugely celebrated.
Right.
You know, nowadays, if you go to the bathroom, it's a celebration. So I think things have changed, right?
Okay.
And I think with people, pajamas is now formal wear or casual wear. So I think like yoga pants now or leggings, that's how they're called.
The leggings. Okay.
Leggings is now considered formal wear because pajamas is casual wear. Whereas, before jeans was casual wear and you had to actually dress up to look appropriate to go somewhere. That Sunday best doesn't exist. Not as many people go to church.
Right.
People go to the grocery and, it's self-checkout. So you don't have to impress the cashier no more. You're not getting judged. That's the other thing, right? Like we're not allowed to judge each other no more. We all have to accept everything. So I think that's why a lot of people are lazy now and they don't get dressed up. And then there's no reason to celebrate. If everybody's got a trophy, then there's no winners. And if there's no winners, then there's nothing to do to celebrate the beginning of the new year because you're the first. Unless it's the comment section. Unless you're this dude like in the comment section, then you're first. That's the only race that exists nowadays.
Dude, this guy is so getting a friend request from me. It's unbelievable. I want to thank him for being the first.
And that's what it is. I don't know. I think the laziness in society over the past decade has been the downfall of formal wear. But then that's what I attribute it to. But then, is it really laziness? Because if you think about it, okay, we're not doing as many updos, but damn it, if you're not doing a lot of work for beachy waves and the beachy curls,
right,
you're still putting in that work. You're not having to pin it up afterwards, but all the prep work is similar.
Right.
You're still using the spray. You're still using set-in lotions. You're still using, pomades and gels and all the other stuff. So, right. And if you look at all these images on social media, I mean, these girls are putting in work. These women are putting in the work to get them curls to look good. They're buying the tools. They're buying the products. They're buying the retail and everything else that's involved. They are dressing up in their own way. They're not dressing up as formally as what we remember, but they are getting dressed up. So, in their own way for today's time. And we're just being judgy of that because in all fairness to them, they are dressed up.
Right.
Like in today's level, not putting on pajama and going out with leggings is considered dressing up. And putting on lip gloss is considered putting on a face.
Okay.
So in all fairness, it's a generational thing. That's going to be my opinion. It's a generational thing. I think the beachy waves is the formal waves of our time. And I think the going to the neighbor's house is the equivalent of going to the bar. To us, going to the bar was going outside. And if you think about it nowadays, where a lot of people don't go out as often, going to the neighbors is still an event. They're going out somewhere. Yeah, I'm actually changing my stance. I think it's different. I think it's different than what we are used to, but I think people are still doing it in their own way. Now it becomes an opinion argument. Is it the better way or the worse way? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it right or wrong? I don't know. But people are making decisions, and I'm all for that.
Right.
So, yeah, I changed my stance. That's where I'm going with.
There we go. I agree with you on all of that, especially on people are doing stuff, but I just don't think that they're dressing to the nines like they used to, like our parents used to, or and the major massively thrown, balls and things like that. I think they still exist, but not as many people go. So with that being said, I think on the other side of it is that our clients are still getting their service. They still want to look good for New Year's Eve. It's just not. We're not doing the updos. We're not doing the true hairdressing services. But we're still doing color. We're still doing cut. Like you said, they're still getting blow dried. They're still getting those beachy waves and things like that. So with that being said, I think it's just been a shift. I agree. It's just been a true shift. And which is the perfect segue into our next subject, which is a lot of my clients are now being shifted from working at home, where they're being required to go back into the office now, even if it's a hybrid schedule where they're maybe home 2 days and in the office 3 days. And now they're in a panic because they've just been taking care of this, because whatever's being seen on something like this, now they've got to do the whole. They've got to do the whole thing, and they can't live in their stretch pants anymore, or what do we call them, leggings? Now it's time for them to update their image, and I think that we have to take that into account when we hear our clients say, "Oh, I got to go back in the office," or whatever. I think that as professionals, then we need to start going back to making recommendations of, okay, well, we've got to update your style. I mean, you've been out of the office for, I don't even know how many years ago the whole COVID thing was. I can't remember. 3, 4 years, 4 years. So 4 years ago, there are people that have only seen your face for 4 years. So now, we got to work your image. We got to get you ready for going back in, into that whole.
We're in the wrong business. We should have gotten into the selling pants business. I miss those videos, man. Those were always awesome. Everybody's all dressed up, suit and tie, and they're in their, ducky shorts.
My stepson.
True. It's interesting. The whole return to office argument is very, very interesting,
Right.
But it is wild seeing the back of the head, how disproportionately unkept the back of the head has been, because everybody's been so focused on the front.
Right.
And this is why we have face framing, and this is why we have the money piece, and this is why we have all these trends and all these styles that focus so heavily on that. It's why, I mean, beachy waves and the beachy curls are they have their purpose, for other reasons, but more so than ever, that's what curls have just become such a huge part of the style, for the past number of years now, because before that, straight hair was, you could not get people's hair bone straight enough. There was a time with that. Now everybody's got some volume or wave or curl or bend to it in some shape, in some way. So it's huge. It's huge. It's definitely, though, the plan, putting together the plan. It's been wild because people, like you're saying, haven't been keeping up with the schedule. So then how do you start transitioning somebody who now needs to start keeping their color, regularly every 6 weeks, every 4 to 6 weeks, some people every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how fast or slow your hair grows, and then with the disproportionate outgrowth, how do you start balancing that out?
Right.
So what do? Do you go in just all in one go and just try to balance it out all in one shot, or do you slowly use a couple of visits to transition it in?
I would probably go with a couple of visits. I would, because you got to start building. We used back in the day, we used to call it just doing the T, just the T color. All this out here, I mean, you've got to build the color back up in there, right? True or false?
You got to build that up. There is this thing where when your hair starts growing, this is what a lot of people don't understand. When your hair starts growing, it grows approximately a half an inch a month. All right. So let's just say, well, it depends if you get your nails done or not, but like the size of your pinky nail.
Right.
You get about that much growth a month. You get that little bit of that growth a month.
Right.
As it continues to grow down the length, it becomes the length of your hair shaft. That's what we commonly refer to. Like when it grows about that much away, like if you go from your fingertip, if you go to your second knuckle, when it's that far off your head, that's what we start referring to as the the mid shaft or the cold shaft.
Right.
Okay. Which means the natural heat that your head generates is not affecting that area as much. It's not helping that much.
Right. Right.
In English, what that means is this is why everybody's got those rings going around their head or those halo band or those bands. It's a line of demarcation. It's a heavy, strong line of demarcation that's very noticeable. It's the area of your hair that is not old enough like the rest of the length of your hair to start releasing color sooner. The porosity is still active and balanced out. And the contrast, there's the contrast between your new hair growing in and that existing previous hair. Every time you go to touch up your new hair growth, there's a slight overlap. And because of the porosity, it creates a layer and a buildup and a buildup and a buildup. And because the ends are releasing, they're not holding as much of that layer of color. And because the new growth is a fresh layer of color, and this has got a couple of layers of color, that's where that buildup, that's where that band shows. That's why it makes it look like that.
Right.
Now, when you're really grown out far, this is a big problem. This is a really, really, really big problem, because then everything either looks faded out or everything looks dull or everything, just doesn't grab as evenly as the new hair growth does. Now you look like you got hot roots. Now you look like you got really dark or really vibrant, glowing new growth area, which is the fresh hair. And then everything else is lifeless on the end in comparison to the contrast at the new growth. And then people start freaking out. Oh my God, well, what do I do? What do I do? I look off, like it looks off, So that's what we're talking about, transitioning over a couple of services. If you plan it out correctly, if you got to go back mid-January, start coming in now and come in, twice before mid-January. If you're going back at the end of January, start spreading it out. If you have more time, like February or March, then you have more time to do it. But if you don't have any time left, then what do? And a lot of stylists aren't going to like this. You got to treat it as a corrective tint back.
Yes, sir.
The hair, you got to do a couple of processes and you got to book out accordingly. Yeah. It's going to take, how much time does it take to do a proper tint back?
But that all depends on texture, density, and porosity.
Average, ballpark. Because processing time is the greatest equalizer. You can't goof processing time.
Right.
Color takes time. You could put it under heat and the lamps and the vaporizers and the steamers and all that.
That's not going to matter, because you got to do that cold shaft first, or whatever you want to call it. Then go back in and do the root touch up, and then you're probably, even if you're spot on, you're still going to at least want to do an overlay. You want to do an overlay to balance everything out, because there is going to be a little bit of a color shift.
So let's say an application takes 5 minutes.
Right.
The actual application of the color. So you have to formulate and mix up your tint back color, your base.
You're looking at an hour and a half.
Right? Because that's got to process for 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
You got to rinse that out. That's going to take another 5 minutes. You got to reapply and pull through, or you got to start from the cold shaft and work your way up to the new growth. Either way, you got to get that global application on eventually. That's going to take another 10 minutes. or less. But the processing on that's going to take 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It depends what you're doing, right?
Right.
20, 30, 40 minutes. Yeah. And then you got to wash that out. That's going to take another 5, maybe 10 minutes.
You're looking at an hour and a half.
A lot of people don't realize, they're like, oh, I don't have that much time. That one extra step is the make or break of a successful service or a failed service. How much time do you spend in toning afterwards or balancing out afterwards when somebody doesn't do all that?
Oh, it all depends, because sometimes you have to layer in that toner too. Once again,
then is that extra 30 minutes really that detrimental?
No, I see. But there's a lot that goes into this, because once again, as we well know, every head of hair is different, and what the technique that you're going to use to achieve what you want to achieve varies from head to head. And then probably what's going to happen is, oh my God, I've never been this dark. Even if you used a level 8, I've never been this dark. Oh, you got to put some highlights in here. Right? But now my point to all of this is do you charge each individual service, or you give them a flat rate?
I create one price based off of an a la carte breakdown, but I always just give one global price, because then you either can do it or you can't. There's if you, in my personal opinion, if you start itemizing what everything is going to cost somebody, it gets confusing.
Okay, I get exactly what you're saying, but my point being is, okay, what do you charge, ballpark figure, what do you charge for a single process?
85 to 100.
Okay, let's go on the low side. 85 for the single process. Okay, so now that's just for a root retouch, correct?
Yeah.
So then what would you charge for the cold shaft application?
If I like the person, 25. If they're annoy the crap out of me, 45.
Okay.
I'm very, you know how I am behind the chair.
Okay. So then, but you've now basically done 2 root applications on this person, if you really think about it, right? Going through
I have, which that's why I'm like, I'm going with a quarter of my price to almost half my price.
Okay. Then you've got to balance out the ends. Is there a charge for color balancing?
If I like the person, no. If I don't like the person, yes.
You can never work for me, ever.
I do. You know how I am behind the chair. I'm telling you straight.
But that's product.
That's why I don't. I'm very. Nobody. Okay, as a parent, you have your favorite kid. I don't care what you. I love all my kids equally. No, you don't.
No, I don't. I don't like any of my kids. So that's okay.
You favor some people, and by default, when you favor somebody, you want to do good for them. And then throw in there that the hairdresser heart goes out to the client as well. You want to do good for them. We undercut ourselves all the time. We underprice ourselves all the time. We give more in perceived value than what we actually charge. So that's the truth of it. And okay. If you don't do that, bravo to you. I'm very happy for you. But I'm at a place in my career, and I'm at a place financially where, yeah, I will undercut myself. Just, it's my way of, I don't know, giving back, of being charitable in what makes sense to me and what feels good for me.
Okay. This is actually a subject for another day.
Sure.
I'm just gonna
write it down.
I'm just gonna remind you that, when your car goes in for service, what kind of deals do you get?
It depends. It depends how much I flirt with the dudes at the dealership.
dudes at the dealership.
And it depends how straight they are. You know, because with two straight guys flirting with each other is really freaking awkward, let me tell you. It's really awkward, especially because, as you know, I don't watch sports. And most dudes at the dealership are into sports. So me trying to have a conversation with these guys and trying to be buddy-buddy with them just so I can get a little bit of a deal on my oil change, it's hilarious. Oh my God, they make fun of me, man. It's hilarious.
This whole subject could spiral downward really bad. We're going to stop.
The advice is flirt with everybody. That should be another topic. Okay, now we got 2 upcoming topics. Flirting with everybody is a good thing if done correctly. And how charitable you are to your clients is another topic.
Why do I have this image of you walking into the dealership with your yoga pants on and a crop top?
I'm not saying sexual flirting, you goofball. You polar bear. You polar bear subscription.
Dude, I am so finding a picture of a polar bear, and I'm gonna Photoshop my head on top of it because that's awesome. That was freaking beautiful. That's beautiful. You don't know how my day has been made. I could go
right.
I could go right back to bed now. You know what I've been wanting for a long time, and it happened finally. It's amazing.
Merry Christmas.
Amazing. I'm gonna giggle and chuckle all day long. So anyway, all right. So you ready for your motivation, my friend?
Sure. Flirt with everybody.
Okay.
That's the motivation.
That's it. Flirt with everybody. And Eddie in his Lululemon pants.
Oh my God.
With his Uggs on.
That would be the day. Maybe an April Fools.
And this is awesome because actually we went right into kind of what the motivation is. Okay, you ready? Do what is right, not what is easy.
Do what is right, not what is easy.
And that's brought to us by Buddha.
Okay.
Do what is right, not what is easy. Because
so break that down.
There is always what is right, and there's always in the same subject. There's always what is easy, and usually, the easy way turns out to be the difficult way. To where if you do something what's right, and you know what, and we all know right and wrong, and we all know what the right thing to do is, and not the easy way, usually it doesn't come back to bite you. And in hair, it's very, there's the right way to do it, or there's the quick, easy way where you're going to end up with someone coming back to you going, oh yeah, this looked good for about a week, and then it went orange on me. So I'm using that as, but there's the right way, and then there's the easy way. And usually if you do what the right thing, there's also that other saying is doing the right thing when no one is looking. It's about having character. It's about your own personal honor too. But that's really how it shakes out for me. Do the right thing, not the easy thing. Because as you and I have always adopted, good isn't good enough. That goes right there along with that.
That's what I was going to go with, because that to me doesn't mean there's necessarily a right and a wrong. There's the do the right thing, not the easy thing. Obviously, don't do the wrong thing. Like right. That to me, that going the easy thing, that's where that good is good enough comes.
Right.
Where it's not perfect, but it'll get you by. Right. How long will that get you by for?
Right.
And will it necessarily come back and bite you? Maybe not every time, but when the time that it does, that's the time that it mattered the most, and that's when it counts. That's the difference of losing a client or not. Because if you think about it, we've made mistakes on clients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to this day, I make mistakes on clients still. And I do it all the time. Actually, I just had one. Oh, I had a perfect one between doing the right thing and doing the easy thing. I had a client came in about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and she wanted to change. And I just wasn't in the mood that day mentally to sit there and do the fill. She wanted to go, she wanted the tint back. This is actually perfect. Because I know this client in particular, who I'm talking about, she always wants to do something different. And every single time history has shown me that I have gone darker on her, we spend the next 4 visits going lighter again. You know the client. You know that kind of client.
Mm-hmm.
She enjoys the dark for the one time, for the 6 weeks. She enjoys being that darker color. But then we go a little lighter and a little lighter and a little lighter, and eventually we get to a level of lightness where she's happy with. And after 6 weeks of being that level of lightness, she wants to go dark again. Well, it was one of those times. She was ready to go dark again. I know I'm supposed to fill it. And then I know I'm supposed to go over it again. And then she'll be nice and dark. And she'll be a solid dark for 6 weeks. And that'll put me the perfect base for next time. And I'll start lighting her up, slowly, right? That's the right thing to do. I took the easy way. And I flat out told her, I says, listen, we're going to do an experiment. Because I know you're going to want to go lighter. I know it. I'm calling you out on it right now. But it's okay. I'm going to half-ass this. I'm going to do a demi. I'm not going to do the full process on you. I'm going to do a demi. And I'm just going to pull it through. And it's going to get you darker. You're going to have a change. But if it doesn't hold, I need you to come back. It's an easy fix. I'll do the whole thing that I'm supposed to do. But I just want to experiment. I just want to see if it'll work or not. And that was my way of just doing the easy. Sure enough, she came back the following week and I had to redo the whole thing again because it didn't hold. And that's fine. Egg on my face, but I knew it. I called myself out on it. Still knowing it was the easy way out, not the right way to do it. And I still went for it because that particular day, I mentally was not all there. I was just not in the mood that day.
Right.
We've
all, what, everybody watching, anybody who hears this is we're all relating going, yeah, we've all done this.
You know how it goes. Look, man, it's the holiday season. You're overbooked, you're overworked, you're busier than you usually are. It's the holiday, family's coming up with getting together. You're stressed out about it. Life every day, adulting sucks, right?
Right.
And now I'm in this excruciating pain. I mean, it's just the amount of mental toll just to exist is sometimes it catches up. Sometimes it builds up. Sometimes it doesn't fully release. Sometimes you don't have these subscriptions to give yourself,
Dude.
So yeah, I fell victim to my own thing and I tried to do easy instead of doing right. I righted it afterwards. It ended up costing me twice as much time and twice as much effort. Right. And I think that's the moral of the story.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't there another thing that you could say similarly? Measure twice, cut once.
Cut once. Yep.
So I mean that's kind of
same thing. But once again, it's just do what's right and not what's easy.
What is right and what is easy? Is demi color or is it 10 volume?
Huh?
When you got to go from light to dark, or this so just we were talking about return to office, or we're talking about doing the right thing versus easy thing, talking about tint backs, pull throughs, the cold shaft, everything else, balancing out color. Do you do it with demi color or do you do it with 10 volume?
That's
there's this argument all the time. We get this phone call all the time.
It's a situational thing.
Oh, is it?
Sure.
All right. When is it situationally good to pull 10 volume through the mid shaft and ends?
Well, never.
Then how is it situational?
Oh, I thought you were just talking about doing a root application.
No, I'm talking about pull through.
No, it's never okay to
Pull through and toners.
Plus, toners are different. Toners are completely different.
How?
What are you toning?
What does it matter?
Is it a double process? Because sometimes with a double process, you need 20 volume, maybe just to give it that little nudge of a lift to get that clear blonde.
Now you're going really situational.
Oh, so I said it's situational.
Okay, your regular average 95% of the time you're doing a highlight.
Okay, you're toning a highlight? Then you use downlight because you can't use 10 volume. You don't want to break the base.
People use 10 volume all the time. Then why always the argument? Okay, that's another topic. 10 volume versus demi.
That because
we've come up with 3 new topics this week.
Because ideally, if you're using all nutrient, you could use CPL.
CPL is demi. It's not 10 volume.
It's CPL. It's color processing lotion.
Yeah, which makes the color demi. What are you even talking about right now? We're going off the rails. You're trying to do easy. You're not doing right.
I'm a polar bear. What do you want from me? Here's the fun part. Next week we have our 1-year episode. 1 year we've been doing this. We have a very special guest, which is the third person of the of what constitutes HTB Beauty, and all the education and everything else.
Third person is the founder.
Well, I was getting to that. Why you gotta go ahead then? Yeah, we're gonna have Darren on. Darren Stork, who is the founder of HTB, who is the actually the mojo behind everything we do. And we're gonna get to talk to Darren. Find out everything you ever wanted to know about HTB, and you're going to get sneak peeks at some stuff coming up in 25 with us. And so tune in. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy holidays, and we will catch you guys next week.
Any questions you want for Darren asked, leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to find out from him. As always, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate all the interaction. Happy New Year, everybody. We will see you next week.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our caller to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.